Okay, so again, the learning goals you do not have to copy down. This is just me going, hey, let's get a semblance of what we're trying to accomplish today so you know what the plan is. Learning goal, we will review some math skills covered in previous grades, which will be needed this year. But as I did yesterday, I'll teach it like you haven't seen it before. So even if you don't remember it from last year, it doesn't matter. I'm reteaching it again. Success criteria. How will I know if things are going well? I am successful if I can replace variables with numbers and then get the answer. I like this lesson because it helps people, like my young kids. And sometimes they look over my shoulder at the math stuff I'm doing and they go, what are these X's and Y's and M's and L's? What are those? And I say, they're numbers. And they go, no, they're not. They're letters. I'm like, I know. That's weird, isn't it? Today's the answer to that, where we talk about why letters can be numbers. All right. Now's where you need your pencil and your paper. Please get out a slice of paper. A slice. I'm going to call it a slice.
It's not food.
Yeah. Remember, if you don't have a slice, I got lots of slices back there.
Do you have a pen?
A pen?
Yeah.
Pencil?
I have a pencil. I just want a black.
You just want a what?
A black pen.
A black pen. No. Pencil. Use a pen. Math. Math pencil. Here, try this. I have a gift for you. I think I have my Rockin' Good pencil in here. Yes, I do. 0.9 millimeter pencil. If you like writing with pens over pencils, try out the 0.9 millimeter. Now, most people buy a mechanical pencil, they buy a 0.5. That's a 0.9. Try it out and see what you think. It writes good. It writes good. Your title is Substitution. What else does this title need, friends? Substitution is the title, but what else should we put on our papers every time? The date, yes. And you don't have to be too fancy. Maybe your elementary teacher wanted you to write Thursday, September 6, 2024. No. We just want a reference so that if we lose our sheet, we can get them back in order. And today is September the 5th. Excuse me. Substitution. Replace a variable by a number in brackets. Hey friends, that's the number one thing I have to teach today. The rest of it, pretty straightforward. I'm going to highlight it in yellow. Make sure you write this sentence. And if you don't have a highlighter, at least underline that or circle it or something. Do something, because that's the most important phrase of the day. We're only 3 minutes into the lesson, and I'm telling you, that's the most important phrase of the day. Replace a variable by a number in brackets. Okay, first I'm going to help you remember to put a number in brackets, and then we'll talk about why we do it. Here's a short story, partially true. Thursday night should be sub night at my house. I don't want to cook tonight. Aren't subs easy? They're not really healthy, but you can sort of convince yourself they're sort of healthy. And when I go to Subway, when I go to Subway to buy a sub, they always put it in a nice wrapper for me to take home. You know what I'm talking about, that crinkly thing? Doubles as a tablecloth when you get home, whammo, and then becomes a garbage bag when you're done. Beautiful. They always, when they sub me, they always give me a package to put in. That's what you have to do too. Whenever you substitute a number in for a letter, put a nice package around it, like Subway, a little set of brackets. That's not mathy at all. That's just me helping you remember. So on the test, you're like, oh, Ms. Todd said, put brackets around it, put it in a little package, because it's sub. Why do we do it? So that the bed mass works properly. Bed mass only works properly. So here's an expression. I want you to write this down. A, 2x minus 3y plus 5z. Just write that down. These kind of expressions frustrate people who are newly learning about algebra. Because you look at this, and I'm going to cover this up for you. You're like, you look at that and go, well, what am I supposed to do with that? The answer is nothing. There's nothing you can do with that expression over there. until someone tells you what x, y, and z is. But here they did. They said, what is this expression if x equals 2 and y equals 6 and z equals 8? So what you do is, instead of, you rewrite this line over here, but instead of writing x, y, and z, I'm still on highlighter there. Instead of writing x, y, and z, whenever you run into x, you write the value of x. Whenever you run into y, you write the value of y. And whenever you run into z, you write the value of z. But when you write them in brackets. So 2, x. I'm going to put a 2 in there for the x. Because it said x is 2. You try. Just take a second and try and write the rest of the line, putting the y and the z in. Then look up at mine and see if you put them in properly. How'd it go? Did you write what I wrote? Yeah, pretty straightforward. And if you got that right and you get what I just said, our lesson is over. That's the only really new thing I'm going to teach you today. Because now we'll just do what we were doing yesterday. Now, do you see why the practice each day is so important? If you didn't practice this, you might find this hard. If you didn't practice this last night, but if you did practice it, then the rest of this lesson becomes easy and math starts to become easy, where it's like, oh, I get that, because we're building on it. If you were away yesterday, you didn't come to class, then I go to do this and you're not sure what's happening. Okay? Maybe you remember all this from last year and it's easy. But here we go. I see 2 times 2. I see 3 times 6, and I see 5 times 8. I see subtract, I see add. What's first? What do I do first? Multiplication becomes before addition and subtraction. Now I see several multiplications. Which order should I do them in? And then we just go left to right. So what's 2 times 2? Hopefully that one you can do in your head. What's 3 times 6? Can you do it in your head? 18. And 5 times 8, well, if those seem like big numbers, multiplying with 5s is supposed to be pretty easy. 5 times 8. Oh, you got a 0 there too, 40. But I don't know, is anybody going to do this in their head? 4 minus 18 plus 40? Fairly unlikely. So let's do the calculator check right now. Here's what I want you to do from now on. Well, I'm not mad today, I'm just saying, here's what I want you to do. When you first get here, pencil, paper, and then take out your calculator. I'll come around. I got a delivery service going today, but starting tomorrow, I really want to encourage you to walk over and pick up. And the one if you're buying a calculator, come see me and I'll encourage you. These are the ones I suggest to buy if you're going to buy one. They're pretty inexpensive and they do everything. If you just want something simple to use, this does everything you need in high school. These little sharp EL 510s. Does anyone need a calculator today? Who needs a calculator today? Look at me delivering. Thank you, Mr. Todd. You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Todd. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Todd. You're welcome. Anybody else need a calculator? That was all? Oh, that's amazing. If I only had to give out 3 calculators, I'm happy. If you borrowed mine, no problem. But I do want you to move towards getting your own. One more?
Yeah.
4. 4 was our number that we got to beat tomorrow. Less calculators needed. If you want to order one, and you're not sure how, come see me, especially today. I'm going to be done teaching pretty early today. If you want to buy the ones I found on sale, you just let me know. You don't have to pay me today. You can take it. And these are really good. Yeah? These do fractions really well. The white one doesn't do fractions too good. These ones do fractions really good. So makes your life easier. So take a second and type that in.
Sorry for the interruption. This is last call for any students that need their pictures done. Please go to the gym now. Last call for any students that need pictures done.
That's loud. Will you type it in, please? I believe you know how to type these things in calculators. I believe it. But it's my job to check, just to make sure to find out if you're having trouble. 4 minus 18 plus 40, what do you get? 26, okay? So yes, we are going to, when we see 2 times 2, are we going to try to do it in our brain? Yeah, I think we should. But once it gets out of hand, then we want to have our calculator available. You want to use the same calculator all the time, same kind. That's why you get your own. So it's like, I know where the buttons are on this one. That gives me the best chance at success. Okay? Do we have the questions on this one? All right, so let me preview. I'm already previewing how much attention span you need to finish. It's nice to know. How long do I gotta listen to this before I can get loose to this lesson here? I've got to do today B, C. You up to it? You got enough attention span for 2 more? And then I am done teaching for the day. I got some other things to talk to you about, but I'm done math teaching for the day. Question? We just typed in our calculator. Where's your calculator? Type in 4 minus 18 plus 40. 4 minus 18, negative 14 plus 40. Oh, type it in. Negative 14. I think you just didn't hit the negative. So.
I had the negative 14 in there.
Okay, so show me 4 minus 18. Good. And then plus 40. So I don't know, some key, you pressed in the wrong order or something went wrong there, okay? Everybody else is happy? Yeah. Just to double check that you wrote this sentence, that's the most important sentence of the day. So put the number in brackets. Had to throw a fraction in here. Yes. Okay, I do want to spend a little more time talking about this one today. I put it up there again on purpose because the fraction might cause you a problem, and we'll see if somebody remember what I said about fractions. Let's see. First step, same as the last one. Don't let the fraction intimidate you. It's 2x plus 4 over negative 3y plus 10, but they told us what x and y is. If they don't tell us what x and y is, there's nothing more I would be able to do. No mathematician anywhere, smartest person you ever meet, can do anything with what's there if they don't tell me what x and y is. But here they told me. They said x equals 6 and y equals 2. So my job is to rewrite the expression, substituting the given values for the letters they represent. But when I substitute them in order, yes? What do I take with it when I sub in? I'll rewind. When we sub in, what's the thing we got to do? In the brackets, okay? In brackets. It makes BEDMAS work properly. If you don't do that, you don't get the things coming out right. So 2, and I put in for x, I put a 6, and then I write plus 4. A lot of stuff I just rewrite when I do this. I don't do anything with it. I just sub in to the spots, and I don't do any other math. And then here, negative 3 times 2 plus 4. Oh, I don't like my 2 there. That's not very neat and tidy, is it? 2 plus 10. Negative 3 times 2 plus 10, 2 times x plus 4. Okay, so now in the exact same spot that I was yesterday. We did one similar to this yesterday. What did I say about fractions, though? When you got fractions, it looks like divide. When do I take care of the fraction? At the end. Yeah, do the numerator, do the denominator. It's not very well explained. We don't explain it very well. But when you get given a fraction here, it's like there's an understood bracket. Here, I'm going to choose a color. You should do it with me. Do it very lightly. I'm going to choose this light pink type color. Whenever you see fractions, you're supposed to think of it as if there's a bracket around the top and around the bottom. If that confuses you, you don't have to write it. But I just wanted to mention that can mess people up with fractions if they're not careful. So if I look at the numerator, I've got multiply and add. Which one comes first? Okay, and 2 times 6, well, that's worth trying in our head, isn't it? 2 times 6, 12. Negative 3 times 2. Maybe negatives aren't your thing. Maybe negatives is what screw you up. Or maybe negatives you're not confident about. So when you do it, then you'll test it in your calculator to make sure you got it right. But I want to show you something about negatives on your calculator. Maybe you already know this, and in which case, great. But hey, they're paying me to explain this, so here it comes. When you want to type in a negative in your calculator, you don't use the minus button. You use the negative button. It's in another location on your calculator. And so here I'm negative 3 times 2. I saw someone wanted to answer, but I just wanted to show you how to do it on there. What did you get? -6, right? But if you're nervous about negatives at all, just type it in. We're not going to, I want you to be able to live in your head, but that's not what we're going to live and die on in this course. We got other things we're going to learn about. So we want to be able to get right answers. So I got -6 plus 10. Okay, now a tough question. Maybe the toughest question of the day. I see I've got add in the top, I've got add in the bottom, but then I got this fraction line which is divide. How come I don't do the divide first here? It really looks like I should do the divide first. What is it about fractions that tells you not to do that? Yeah, fractions have this weird implied thing. Fractions say do the numerator, then do the denominator. We don't think of it really as division until the end. That's weird. If that bothers you, that's okay. That's difficult. Anyways, top 12 plus 4 is 16. Ooh, -6 plus 10. Who wants a shot at this thing? Who can do -6 plus 10 with or without their calculator? What'd you get? Yes. -6 plus 10. How did you do it? Did you rely on your calculator or you got a way to do it in your head? She knows this situation. She goes 10 minus 6. She knows that it works out the same if you just go 10 minus 6. And then finally, 16 divided by 4. 4. So the division of fractions goes at the end. And if you're annoyed by that, me too. It's a weird little thing you need to know here. The rest of it, not bad here, but that little quirk is weird in these. So, do you have any questions before we do the last one? I'm going to look at the last one and see if we like this idea of the last one we try ourselves and then we compare, okay? So we're going to take a look, see if the last one is an appropriate one for you to go ahead and try yourself. Let's see. Do you need more time here? We're in great shape. Look how early we are. Okay, you're still going to try it yourself. I think this is an appropriate one. It's got a couple exponents in there, but you might run into trouble. But let's take a few minutes. If you're watching the video, you can fast forward a little bit. Nothing's going to happen for a couple minutes here. I want you to have the time to try this. And even if things go wrong, at least let's find out what's going to go wrong here. So take a few minutes and try that one. At least get the subbing done, and then see what you can accomplish there. And I will do attendance on my other computer. I think you're so mean. I think you should try. I think I could need this in my life now. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14. Ooh, 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 ooh. Trying to watch when people's pencils have stopped moving to get the best indicator of when you've taken your shot at this thing. Do you need more time? Who wants more time? More time? Yeah, let's take more time. I'm not trying to rush you. I don't want to bore you. Anybody else want more time? All right. More time? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm going to write this slightly differently, just in case there's somebody out there who's having real trouble with these. If it went well, or mostly well, great. But if you have trouble with these, one way you could write this is like this, going, okay, 3, I know I got to put a bracket there and cube it, yeah? And all I'm doing in this first move is going, okay, I'm just going to, everywhere there's a letter, I'm just going to write a set of brackets, knowing I got to fill those in. By the way, this can mess some people up. Some people won't like this. But if you're having real trouble, this can work well. It's like, okay, hold on. I know I got to put something in for T. I know I got to put something in for R. And I know I got something in for U. And then you just look and go, okay, T, I got to put in -2. R, I got to put in 3. And U, I got to put in 4. If you got that far, and that was right, you should be pretty happy. You've got the point of today's lesson. If the bed mass thing went a little sideways after that, okay, we'll got to work on that. But this is the main point of today's lesson. And you're able to do what we set out to do today, which is put the numbers in for the letters. Then we switch over to bed mass. Is there brackets? There is. But the brackets, there's nothing to do inside them. So when it says brackets, there's got to be something inside to do, and there's nothing inside to do. We move on to exponents. That's right. So what would I write? How many -2s would I get here? Oh, she's a step ahead of me. Okay, I got to hurry here. She's giving me more. She's like, oh, that will be -8 eventually. She went -2 times -2 times -2 and got -8. Great stuff. How about the 3 squared then? What do I got to do 3 to the power 2? 3 times 3. And what did that come out to be? How did you handle that? Did you multiply the 3's together, or did you multiply it all together? You just did 3 times 3? I like that. And if you have slightly different steps, but you end up with the same answer, that's all good. Some people write things just a little bit differently. And I'm not going to do anything with this. Maybe you did do something like this. Maybe you already handled something like that, but maybe you waited to do the multiplication. Now multiply them all. 3 times negative 8. Who's got it? Even if you used your calculator, what's 3 times negative 8? Negative 24. 4 times 9? 36. And 5 times 4? 20. And I think we're far enough along now that when you get just to addition and subtraction left to right, I think you can just type that in your calculator all the way across. I think that's okay. Negative 24 plus 36 minus 20, what did you get? Negative 8. If you ended up with negative 8, you should be like, hey, I got this down. I'm going to be done this homework in like 8 minutes, and I'm going to be able to chill for a while today. Okay? If you made one little mistake, it's not time to panic. You got the main point of the lesson. That was a tough bed math question. That's probably as tough a bed math question as we've done. So it's not time to panic, but it's time to just refine and practice a little bit, okay? What's that?
I paused the counting of you solving that Rubik's Cube at 18 seconds. 20 seconds.
You're generous. I normally can't break 30 seconds. Normally I can't do this. All right, let's find this, and I'll stop the video.